the last 12 months has been transformational for sovereign metals. We have actually found the largest rutile deposit in the world, which comes along as well as the second largest graphite deposit in the world in Malawi. What's rutile? Well, it's the world's purest natural source of titanium, going into the pigment, welding and titanium metal industries, aerospace, etc. It's the 95% TiO2, and compared to ilmenite, which is 50% TiO2, obviously the preferred source of natural titanium for many industrial users, particularly in welding and pigment. Rutile these days fetching around $1,500 a tonne contract, and with spot well over $2,000 a tonne compared to ilmenite at sort of $200 to $400 a tonne. It's a genuinely scarce commodity. We see substantial or very substantial supply coming out of the market over the next 5 to 10 years. This graphic doesn't include sovereign metals coming into production in probably 2026. And as you can see, we have a huge supply gap there that we will be able to fill. So what have we found here in Malawi? Well, Kasiya, the world's largest rutile deposit, which also includes a very interesting and non-traditional byproduct of flake graphite. 1.8 billion tonnes at 1% rutile and about 1.3% graphite. The deposit footprint is huge, 180 square kilometres, and about 30 kilometres north to south and up to 15 kilometres wide. Infrastructure is amazing. We've got an operating rail running over the southern tip of the deposit there, and power nearby, and plenty of fresh water available in Malawi. So, the largest rutile deposit ever discovered. More than double the rutile of our, nearest peer, Sierra Rutile, owned by Iluka. A number of new, large and discrete high-grade zones in the deposit, which would be the focus for our reserve development. Kasiya is also one of the largest flake graphite deposits in the world. Low grade, but substantial tonnages at about 23 million tonnes. And produces a byproduct. It will be the lowest cost graphite producer in the world by a country mile. We're looking at about if you box up the graphite OPEX, around $160 FOB, compared to a lot of our peers in Africa looking at $500 to $800 FOB cost for flake graphite. So, as you could understand, we'll be able to easily compete in that market and potentially undercut our competitors there. Natural rutile makes up a small percentage of the high-grade titanium pigment feedstock market, but it has a much, much lower carbon footprint because it does not need to be upgraded by smelting or the synthetic rutile process that have huge carbon footprints. If you use ilmenite to make pigment with the chloride process, the common chloride process, you need to upgrade it, producing huge CO2 outputs, which is then made into synthetic rutile or slag to go into the pigment production. And as you can see on this graphite, our high-grade natural rutile can go straight to chloride pigment production. And we can see this on this graphic here. Oops. Okay, that's not working. So compared to synthetic rutile and compared to titania slag, those upgraded products, we have a 20 to 33 times lower scope 1 and 2 global warming potential. And in scope 3, i.e. that's the pigment producers' carbon footprint, we have a 35 to 50% lower global warming potential. Add to that our natural graphite compared to Chinese graphite, production of Chinese graphite, because our project will be hydro mining from surface using renewable power, hydropower, a combination of hydropower and solar power on site. So 0.2 of a tonne CO2 equivalent versus Chinese production of around 1.1 tonne of CO2 equivalent, and 1/100th of the CO2 footprint of synthetic graphite. So this project has some amazing ESG aspects to it. Low carbon footprint mining, low carbon footprint products. So late last year, we completed an initial scoping study looking at 25 years of mining 12 million tonnes a year via hydro mining, about 120,000 tonnes of rutile a year. That would go close to Sierra Rutile's production levels, 80,000 tonnes of graphite, capex of $330 US, operating costs of $352 per tonne of product, and 2.5 year payback, NPV 8 of 860 million US. Simple geology. This is a little bit unique, but simple in its own right. Rutile mineralisation and graphite lies in laterally extensive, flat blanket-style bodies known as a residual placer. Mineralisation occurs in a single large and coherent body, with much of the high grade in the top 5 metres from surface. Hydro mining, low cost, low environmental footprint, slurrying the material, pumping it to the plant, pumping the tails back to the pit. Simple processing flow sheet, robust metallurgy confirmed over a number of bulk test work programs. We're able to achieve near 100% recoveries with rutile grades ranging from 95% to 97% TiO2, so premium product specifications. From the rutile plant, we take off a light mineral concentrate off the spirals where the graphite is contained, and that graphite is then sent for traditional graphite flotation. Graphite, being a byproduct, has an extremely low additional capex and low additional opex. Simple progressive rehab, socially responsible and sustainable operation we are planning, in-pit mining by hydro mining, in-pit disposal of tailings, drying those tailings, rehabilitating the pit and returning the area to farming. Malawi, Commonwealth country, now attracting significant investment and a number of mining projects close to starting and in study stages. Excellent operating infrastructure with a rail line right through the project going to the deep water port of Nacala for us in Mozambique. Rail, highway through the deposit area, and we're only about 60 kilometres from the capital city there of Lilongwe there in Malawi. So amazing infrastructure for a small landlocked African country. Now, upcoming news flow. Because we've had such a step change in the resource size, it was previously 600 million tonnes, now gone to 1.8 million tonnes, we've decided to revise the scoping study, looking at possible longer mine lives, larger throughput and larger production rates. We're in the stages of commencing a pre-feasibility study now, and scoping out our ESIA baseline surveys. A number of significant ongoing offtake discussions and working to characterise that graphite that we have there at Kasiya as the byproduct. So, largest natural rutile deposit in the world by over 2 times, one of the largest graphite resources in the world, 2 commodities, both with low carbon footprints compared to current alternatives. Both of these minerals have been designated critical minerals for the US and EU based on supply risk and economic importance. And I've been working in Malawi for 17 years. Sovereign's been in Malawi for about 11 years. We've got really strong relationships with all the stakeholders there, including government, communities, to support the development of this new major rutile deposit. Thanks very much.